Hey, thanks for stopping by today. Today we're going to talk about something different. Usually I'm talking about CO2 lasers and fiber lasers and light burn, but one of the things I thought I'd cover is one of the tools that I use on a daily basis, absolutely love it, and wouldn't trade it for the world. And that's this right here. This is my Mft table from Festool, Festool. I will tell you that most of these tools that you'll see today I've owned for well over 10 years. They've been absolutely bulletproof. I haven't had a minute's trouble with any of them. And this is typically what I use to deal with my woodwork. And so I'm going to show you kind of some benefits that you can see from getting one of these Mft3 tables and kind of the setup that I've got. I've really migrated in the last couple of 2-3 years from a full-blown wood shop making custom woodwork materials to more laser-related products. And even with that major change in my business profile, this table and these tools I use every day, and it makes a breeze to deal with the stuff that we're dealing with on the laser side. So what I thought I'd do is kind of give you a tour of some Festools, why I like them, how I use them, those kind of things. One of the things that I like that stands out to me, and I absolutely love it, is I have one dust vacuum. I have it connected to an arm that goes to this hose, and in this hose you have one pigtail, and this hose and pigtail will connect to all of my tools, whether it's my sanders, my jigsaws, my track saw. I don't have to ever plug a cord in. I can take whatever tool I need and plug them into this cord and this hose, and I'm ready to go. And so if I change from one size sander to a different size sander to my track saw to break materials down that I use this table for, it takes literally seconds to change tools. I love that. The other thing is the dust extraction on the Festool line of products is incredible. I can sand as much as I want to, and I never have to worry about getting dusty. One of the things that you'll find, even though their sandpaper is a little bit more expensive than just your regular sandpaper that you buy at a hardware store or a big box store, is because the dust extraction is so good. My sandpaper lasts weeks, not days or projects. So I use very little sandpaper because it's typically the dust is what wears out sandpaper, believe it or not. So the dust extraction is incredible. So you know, Festool hasn't sponsored this video in any way, shape, or form. Most of these tools that I have, I've had for well over 10 years. And they just are very, very good. I thoroughly believe that if you buy quality tools, you're way money ahead. And I fully support that when we talk about Festools. So let's go ahead and jump into what this Mft3 table does for you and why I use it so much every day. Before we get into the function of this table, I thought I'd just give you a little better close-up on some of the products that I use. This is a 150 millimeter sander. This is kind of my palm sander. They actually have one size smaller than this, but this is what I use most of my sanding. And I will tell you, it's a great sander. It's very easy. I can sand for hours literally if I have to, and I get very little hand fatigue on something like this. And so the way this works is this pigtail plugs in like so, and then my dust vacuum plugs in like that. And when I want to turn it on, all I've got to do is just hit the button. It turns on the vacuum along with the sander. I turn the sander off, the vacuum turns off. And it's that way on all the tools. So if I needed to go from a 5-inch sander to a 2.5-inch sander, I can sure do it. I can go here and here, ready to go. This one actually has the capabilities that I can go ahead and change the head from a round head to a triangular head, all using the same sander. And then I've got two different settings a very aggressive orbit to a finer orbit, or to the triangle. So you can see that the flexibility of these systems is really nice. I can change things and go back and forth really fast. So the flexibility of these tools is awesome. Just so you can see how the track saw that I'm gonna show you here in just a minute. This is the same thing. I plug the dust vacuum hose in there. I plug this into here, and now my track saw is ready to go. I've got a jigsaw. Let me grab it right quick. I've got a jigsaw here, exactly the same thing. You got to plug in for your cord, and there's all kinds of different shoes that come with this. And I can, like I said, most jigsaws are kind of rough to use. This I can use, and it's incredibly accurate. So anyway, that's how the hose and the power system plugs in. And next I'll go ahead and show you the dust extractor, and then we'll go to the table. This particular dust extractor from Festool is a CT26E. It's kind of the middle of the road. One thing great about Festool is no matter what size a dust extractor you buy, they all have the same suction. The only difference is the capacity on how much dust it holds. This is a variable suction, so you can turn down suction if you need to or increase it. I typically keep it max unless I'm doing some really fine sanding. And once I get above 320, I'll normally turn this all the way down or off. You got your auto switch, so when it's in auto, when you turn on the tool, it turns on the vacuum, or you have the ability to manually turn it on, just if you were cleaning it up or what. It comes apart real easy. The bags are quilted, and they're real easy. I probably change this bag maybe once a month. It's been a great unit. It's got a real long cord on it. Festool was typically, you know, their tools were made and manufactured for craftsmen to come into somebody's home and not leave any dust. And that was one of the things that I really love it. And let's face it, with our lasers, we don't want a dusty environment. So this is kind of a really nice thing to have, because if you're doing a lot of sanding, this can take care of it and not contaminate all your mirrors if your laser's in the same location. So that's the CT26. Again, it's about 10 years old and it just keeps going. It's been an awesome product. Let's go check out the table. Okay, here is the Mft3 table from Festool. It measures 28 wide by 43 long. You'll notice that we've got a lot of holes in this table, and they're meant for dogs, for bench dogs. You can buy lots of different bench dogs. And the way this table works is I use it for an assembly table for just as table space. But it has a lot of different options for clamping, that kind of stuff. The other thing that I absolutely love it for is if I had the ability that I needed to cut something, I could go ahead and put, let's say that this was a bigger sheet and I wanted to cut this down for whatever reason. I don't have to get out my skill saw. You'll notice that I keep this track saw with my track saw mounted in this little garage that I built. And so I just tilt this up and it stays there. So let's say that I needed to cut off a section of this board for whatever reason. I can go ahead and just shorten this up. So I will move these bench dogs in and I can go ahead and set them. And so what this is ensuring is that I'm going to make a 90-degree cut. And so all I would have to do is drop this down. I'm going to also place it here. I would line up my mark right here. I would come over here, check my depth for my saw right here. Now watch how easy this is. I don't have to struggle with it. It would be easy for somebody to do and very safe. All I'm going to do is connect my connections up, And if I wanted to go ahead and make this cut, I would just go ahead and I'm done. You notice no dust. So, you know, if you're afraid of a skill saw or something like that, or there's times that you need to cut pieces of wood like this that need to be cut down to fit into your laser, this Mft3 table and this Festool track saw can really make it nice because it's very safe, it's virtually dust free, and you know, you can cut as much wood as you need to. The other thing, the way these are laid out, is if you need to, you would need to make a 45-degree cut. You could go ahead and just place your wood this way and make your 45-degree cut. So it's very functional. The other thing that I love about it, it has clamps. I'll grab some of these clamps right quick. So these are clamps, and what they do is if you needed to hold a piece of wood down, put these back. Let's say for whatever reason you needed to hold this because you want to hold it down because you wanted to sand it. I could just go ahead and put this through here like this. Come over here, snug this up. Maybe I wanted one more over here. Snug that up. Now all I've got to do is take my connections off my track saw. Let's say that I wanted to plug it into my sander. And now I'm ready to sand. You notice no dust. Okay, if I had to, I could go ahead and loosen these up. Flip this around. I've already sanded this side, so I'm just going to go ahead and virtually no dust. There's a little bit here, but not a whole lot. So you can see how useful this table is, whether it would be for assembly or sanding or cutting. The nice thing I like about it is I don't have to, I've got shoulder problems, and I can't, you know, be lifting a bunch of heavy things all the time. And so the way I've got this track saw mounted, it really makes it nice because all I've got to do is drop it down. We want to do that again. Show you how it works. The first time I saw this, I went, wow, what a nice system, and it saves you so much time. So if I needed to, put in my bench dog so I get a nice straight cut. Come over here, I line it up. We're going to go back from my sander, back to my track saw. Plug that in. Plug this in. Let's get it lined up here. Take off just another little bit. Put it down. If I wanted to make sure it didn't move, I could come over here and I could go ahead, clamp it down tight, and let's make another cut. Just that simple. They have all kinds of devices for holding things down for this table. The other thing that is kind of nice is they have a groove along here, and I just have all my pencils and my Extractor knives and that kind of stuff all the way around this table, and so it's nice that it holds things like that. Anyway, this Mft3 table from Festool, the other thing is once you kind of get this worn out, you can flip it over. You can actually buy these tables separately if you need to. This is the table I use every day for whether it's 1/8 inch material, 1/4 inch material, even 3/4 inch hardwood stuff. I cut and sand on this table on a daily basis. I hope this information was helpful, guys. If you like the content, please give me a thumbs up. I'd sure appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if you have the ability, I'd really appreciate a thanks and contribute to the channel. It's those contributions that are making this content possible. Thanks for stopping by. Everybody have a great day.